Whoever told you the land you were freed on is where you would find your freedom?
Up next, Mr.O. We on grind, baby. Let's get it. Ay, 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 we on grind. Ay, 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 we on grind. Ay, 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 we on grind.
Wake up and grind, man. To all my haters, thank God for the win. You just got a second chance. Now do something with it. All right, today I'm going over a video by Nomad Capitalist. This guy has a company where he helps you relocate whatever country you're coming from to the country of your choice. Helps you with citizenship, residency, investment opportunities, ways to earn money, making it a comfortable transition. Specializes in this. I've seen this content before, but a lot of people want to know why leave the US. And I think it's just the system that we live under. We've been told that this is the best country in the world, and we never question that. We tend to be at the forefront of culture, and so it appears on the surface level that this is the best country to live in. But this video is going to highlight 15 reasons on why America isn't the best option, and 15 reasons to leave the US, some of the more uncommon reasons that people may have not considered. And so before we get into that, coffee.
Shot the pot, straight drop, straight drop, straight drop.
Now let's get into the video.
One viewer told me, I don't like what you say about the USA because it's 100% true. There are dozens of reasons that you should leave the United States and never look back. I did it. I don't regret it. Today we're covering some of the lesser known reasons why you should leave. And before we get into more than a dozen reasons, including many we've never talked about before, what's interesting is that the Richard Nixon Foundation recently took a poll where they said, do you think the political system as it currently stands is corrupt? And 93% of Americans said yes. We've been saying that for years.
Politics is a big reason people choose to leave. One side or the other. I don't think your party necessarily matters. It's just the whole idea of government being so involved that's draining.
You just had a presidential election where it cost billions of dollars just to be elected president. Forget all the other races. It is the most corrupt country in the world. It's just that you can't participate. And the corruption at the highest levels has been legalized. So much so that even CIA spies are saying they plan to leave.
For 7 years, I was working undercover as a spy, and I needed to know how to manipulate, how to live and operate without ever being detected, and how to collect secrets.
And so if you're
Yeah, I also did a video on Andrew, the ex-CIA spy. Check out that video. I'll try to post it if I can. But check out the video on my channel. I covered him as well.
watching this and saying, why would I leave my country? Why don't we just vote and make it better? Let me remind you, as someone who retraced his ancestry earlier this year, that your ancestors probably left somewhere else where they said, this can't be fixed. We want a better opportunity. We want more opportunities for jobs and to have work. We want freedom, whether it's personal, religious, whatever else. Where your ancestors came from wasn't working for them, and they didn't stay and fight. They didn't keep voting for different politicians. They made a list of the things they didn't like, and they chanced at moving to a new place.
Whoever told you the land you were freed on is where you would find your freedom. You have different outlooks on where you currently reside. The mentality is just different in a lot of people. Freedom for some people is intimidating, it's scary. During slavery, which is my ancestry, where I can more or less trace back to what I have known to be true throughout history, some of the slaves that were freed couldn't wait to explore the world. But what I don't think is understood is that there were those who were afraid to leave, that when they found out they were free, they cried. And if you ask them why, it's because they didn't know what to do next. They were afraid of how big and vast the world was and what they were going to do when they got there. So you have that mentality still today, where a lot of Americans are here because they don't know what they do somewhere else. And they're afraid to go and take the chance and figure it out, which relatively you'd find that it might be easier. And there are other countries that may resonate with your skill set, ability, or just overall freedom somewhere else.
The good news is if you leave the U.S. forever, you can always undo forever. I gave myself the chance for years to come back, and I never wanted to. Finally gave up the citizenship, burned that bridge. But you don't have to in this modern age. Move somewhere else and never come back. But what
He left forever. He's not coming back. He abandoned his citizenship. I don't know if I'm ready to do that, but we'll see.
I'd like you to admit to yourself is if you look back throughout the course of U.S. history, not a very good idea to trust any one politician. If you like Trump, you shouldn't trust Trump to save your life. You're going to save your life. If you don't like Trump, would Kamala have been any different? You have to take control. And what I realize is these reasons that we're going to talk about aren't going to go away just because one person got in power. So let's begin. The first thing that really upset me recently when this came across my news headlines was one about civil asset forfeiture. You've seen police across the United States for years. They pull people over. Someone's carrying cash. Maybe they're going to buy a car. Maybe they're doing some kind of deal. They take the cash and they file a big case. U.S. government versus $100,000 in cash. This is a cause that both libertarians, right-wing and left-wing people have gotten behind, where even if you go to the bank depositing too much cash from your burrito shop, you might get a knock on the door from the U.S. government.
This is happening. Take too much cash through the airport and see if somebody don't stop you and take your cash. This been happening. I don't know if you're aware of it, but you can look it up. Asset forfeiture is a thing here, and you never get it back.
And it got worse recently. They finally suspended a program, too little too late in my opinion, where plainclothes officers at the airport just followed you around, got on the plane with you. Hey, I want to look at your bag. And when you said no, they'd take you up the plane, they detain your bag, and people were missing their flights. It was all illegal. And now it's stopped. But
this is exactly what I was just talking about. This is highway robbery and should be illegal.
Country that can consistently get itself into trouble with FBI going to a private security box place. They're looking for one guy's stuff. They open up and take everyone's stuff. And it takes people years to fight the FBI and get their stuff. This is a country you're supposed to be free. You're supposed to be able to keep your stuff. And so many issues with carrying cash, putting money in the bank, traveling. You don't have a lot of those privileges anymore. Let's go to number 2. Some of these are things that people in the comment section have sent in. Qualified immunity. Sounds like kind of a left-wing kind of thing. Oh, the police shouldn't be able to do whatever the hell they want. Well, it's a libertarian thing. In the United States, the police can pretty much do whatever they want. I'm not saying the police are always wrong, but here's what I will tell you. I felt uncomfortable in the United States, certainly going to the airport. It is a police state at the airport, and I will tell you, pretty much every other airport in the world feels more comfortable than a U.S. airport, just in how they talk to you, how they treat you, but just being out in public. In the rare, run-ins where you'd walk past the police, or the police would be driving around. It feels uncomfortable in the U.S. I've come up with the concept of hard freedoms, which is what the U.S. claims to have. We have a constitution. I'll come back to that in a minute. We have these things written down. Don't often follow it. But soft freedom is, our culture is we just don't screw with people. Why would I bother a guy for something? Yeah, he's not doing anything wrong. Leave him alone. You don't have that soft freedom in the U.S. There is increasingly a presumption of you are guilty until proven innocent in all kinds of different matters. And I will tell you, it feels a lot more uncomfortable dealing with the police in the U.S. than anywhere else. I have great respect for the police, a lot of the places where I go and spend time, because they're pretty cool. They're pretty helpful. They actually go out of their way to help you and actually serve the community. You don't have that in the U.S. anymore.
Police corruption. There's corruption in other countries. But in a lot of instances here, you feel less of a citizen. There's a lot of corruption going on here as well. Don't allow what you think is the policies in other countries to blind you of what's actually taking place in this one.
Number 3 is some of the highest healthcare costs in the world, and I'll add to that some of the worst value in the world. Now you see, CEO, United Healthcare, shot and killed in New York. People are upset about this. And you know what's even worse? Add this to the reasons to leave if you're successful, is people are cheering for that. Good, they got him, they said. But let's talk about high healthcare costs. You're getting very low value for your money. We've told you for years. Some counties in Texas are tying Somalia for various healthcare metrics, like infant mortality, for example. Access to care in some of those places is not great. Now you can say, hey, what do I care? I live in Dallas, Texas. I don't live in some far-flung county. If your country is such a successful, great first world country and the best country in the world, shouldn't everybody have access to good health care?
Healthcare is one of the big ones. You can look up the rankings of healthcare around the world and see where US ranks. We have some pretty good doctors, but the system is terrible. A lot of your medication comes from Asia. China, to be specific. About 90% of ibuprofen and other drugs come from overseas. Slapping a new label on it when it gets here and selling it to you as a markup is part of the corruption. It's about money. Your insurance, depending on how much money you have and the coverage you have based on the care that you get. Whereas other countries, it's a lot less for healthcare. Procedures, everyday doctor visits, pennies on the dollar. And it isn't ranked. You're not seen based on your coverage or your plan. You're seen because you need it. And you don't have to wait months out in advance. You can get it same day.
Even if they're willing to pay. And so you go to Singapore, you go to Colombia, you'll find in pretty much all corners of these countries that we talk about, those are just two that we talk about in kind of varying extremes, you'll find that pretty much everybody has access to the same quality of care. Now, there may be more private clinics. We have Nomad Live, our 4-day event every year. It's in Kuala Lumpur. I've spent time there for over a decade. Prince Court Medical Center, one of the best places in the world. You just pay out of pocket, amazing care, amazingly efficient, amazingly affordable. It's one reason to come to Nomad Live. You're going to have more of those clinics in a big city like Kuala Lumpur than in a smaller city. But in most of the countries that I spend time, quality of care is pretty equally distributed. Even in frontier markets like Cambodia, it wasn't 10 or 12 years ago. It's getting better. So if Cambodia and Somalia are beating parts of Texas, then it's really kind of hard to say that the country is the best. And wow. I'm a capitalist, I'm a free market guy, but it's pretty ridiculous to say you're going to pay the kind of taxes that you pay, especially as a successful person where you're paying into the 40%. And you will still be paying into the 40% under Trump, or very close to it, and getting nothing for it. At least in other countries, they get free healthcare, free university. Now, I'd rather pay lower taxes and not get the free stuff and pay for it as I do. I, left the United States and I live in a collection of other countries where my tax burden is very small. When I need healthcare, I go to Prince Court and I just pay. But you don't get that choice in the U.S. You pay very high taxes and you get very poor healthcare response. Obscenely overpriced. I'm telling you, people came to Nomad Capitalist Live the last 2 years in Kuala Lumpur. We saw them at Prince Court. We literally sold out their executive health screenings for a couple of weeks around the event. So many of them came, and we heard stories. People said this would have cost me $10,000 in the U.S. to get all these tests done. They paid $400 in Malaysia. UK-trained doctors, very efficient, very affordable, smiles on the faces. They're getting pushed to the front of the line because it's the executive health screening. I mean, they paid for the whole trip to come to our event just by going there.
So far, we're getting better health care at a better affordable price and faster wait time. Almost no wait times. Forfeiture of assets. That's a problem here. And government and political involvement. Making decisions on your quality of living. These three things alone, things that aren't commonly discussed as to why people are leaving. Majority of the time, you're going to hear cost of living, food costs, transportation, and women or relationships. But you don't hear these. Other things he's going to discuss in this video: free speech, gender wars, fourth wave feminism, social chaos, violent crimes, big in America, two-tier justice system. And I suggest you go check this video out because it gets more into depth of more uncommon reasons on why people are leaving. I'm going to stop it right here because I do want you to go check it out for yourself. But these are reasons right now that are uncommon, and he has 15 that you should go check out and see for yourself as to why people are leaving. Just because you were born somewhere doesn't mean you were meant to stay there. The world is big, it's very vast, and there's a reason that they don't promote other countries to go visit in America. You never see a commercial to get your passport here. You never see a commercial about visiting another country because they want you to stay stuck here, anchored down with all the debt that keeps you stuck here and the mindset of this is the only place in the world. You go to other countries and you see commercials for Disney World. You go to other countries and everybody has their passport. But here they want you to stay. You got to ask yourself why. Why don't they promote it? Why do they want you here? Because they want you to be stuck here and spend your money here and nowhere else in the world. And a lot of people are mentally miserable. A lot of people suffer from depression and anxiety just from the everyday lifestyle that you're tethered to here in America. It's time to break out of the monotony of your everyday life here in America. When are you gonna stop just existing to pay bills? When are you gonna start just living? And that's my time. I'm Mr. O, and I'm just living. Stay smooth and keep it player. You dig.